Hey, everybody, it's just about that time of year where buyers are thinking of buying and sellers are thinking of selling. And if you're thinking of selling, what do you need to know? Stick around. Let's talk about that next. Hey, everybody, Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here. You know you're a great real estate agent by your side when it comes time to buying a home, selling a home, or even relocating to the Treasure Valley. And if you are thinking about selling your home, you're going to need to know some particular things. And so today what I'd like to do is just kind of run through the step-by-step, all the things that you need to know. And then when you give me a call, we can go through all of these deeper and then obviously customize it for whatever your situation is. And then at the end, I've got this great little, it's kind of like a graphic, 3 of them actually, to help you figure out what process between buying and selling do you want to do? Because there are a lot of options that you really need to know about. But for today, let's just talk about the steps to selling your home. And so here we are, all in bullet form, the steps to selling your home. Let's just get started. So first off, obviously, we need to discuss and sign the agency disclosure brochure. That's the information the state of Idaho wants to make sure that you know about before you have any meaningful relationship with any kind of a real estate agent in Idaho. So the next thing is discuss what comparable homes you're going for and then apply adjustments. In the industry, we call that a CMA, a comparable market analysis, or a competitive market analysis, as the case may be. And then we discuss and then sign the seller representation agreement. This is really the listing agreement, and where you're going to put on there the different things that you want to include, that you don't want to include, and then what you're going to start the selling price at, which can always be changed down the road. Optional, and this happens sometimes, we'll need to get the paperwork that would show you as an executor of if it's an estate type of a sale. And then we need to talk about making plans for your packing and you're moving things out. Are you going to put them in pods? You're going to get everything out of the house, put it into the garage, or a storage unit, different things like that. Do you need movers to help you move? Are you moving across the valley? Are you moving to another state? We have different resources that can help with that. And also, do you need some physical help to move some of the furniture around? Do you have people to do that? Maybe friends, kids of friends, somebody from church, stuff like that. Good things to think about. Then we'll have to get a key, be able to put into the lockbox and to let vendors get a hold of to come out and do inspections and repairs, things like that. Also, if you have a garage code thing, it would be super handy to have that. You'd be surprised at how often that really does come in handy. Here's an optional thing for you to consider. Do you want to get a pre-listing home inspection? That's a little bit of money out of the pocket. If you have a home that's just a couple years old, it's probably not a big deal to not worry about this. But if you have a home that's maybe 10, 20 years old and you haven't been up on the maintenance of things, you may not have a real good idea of all the little tiny things that are going on. And you can be sure that the buyer, when they come through, they're going to have their inspector go through the house and find all these things. And there might be some uh-ohs, and we don't like uh-ohs, right? So it's always a good idea to at least consider getting this home inspection. And then you can think about, what did your inspector find? Maybe you want to go ahead and make those health and safety repairs. Seems like there's always a GFCI outlet that's sticky and needs to be replaced. And those are cheap. And it's just one less thing that the buyer's inspector is going to find and call out. And there might be other things that you want to make repairs on and upgrades. And some of those things could be, let's just say, for instance, the roof. Maybe the roof is a 30-year roof and it's been 32 years. And a lot of buyers, I don't know if you knew this, they get mortgages. And when there's a mortgage, there's a lender. And then the lender wants to make sure that the house is livable and is, that's their collateral. So they want it to be a pretty decent, at least livable condition. Or maybe you have flaky paint and it's an older house, could be lead in the paint. That's going to have to be fixed, maybe painted over, scrubbed up, wire brush, stuff like that. Then there's going to be some more forms to complete and sign. The property disclosure form, and that's the form that you tell potential buyers what you know the condition of the home is right now. And if your home is super special, and really, aren't they all? You might want to put together a list of features, of things that you like about the house. Maybe it's easy access to a bus route, or maybe it's got a water feature in the back that you've just really enjoyed for years and years. Maybe it's got some special like intercom system from the 70s that plays AM music or something. Let's put together a list of those, and we can make those available to potential buyers so they can look them over and fall in love with those things just like you did. And another form is the coming soon authorization. And that allows us to put the house on the market, sort of. It doesn't count towards your days on the market, but what it does do is starts to build excitement about your house coming on the market. No agent can come and show your house, but they can look at it and they can look at the pictures on the internet. So that's typically a good thing if we have time to do that. Now, are you going to need to clean your house? Have you been staying up on top of that all along and you just need to like dust? Piece cake. Maybe you're planning on, obviously, you're going to be boxing up. Stuff's going to be kind of all over the place. Maybe some light cleaning, or maybe you've just been kind of turning a blind eye to it for a while and it's going to need a deep cleaning. And you're more than welcome to do that as well. Also, we work with professional cleaners that will come in and do those professional, deep, move in, move out type of a cleaning. Also, carpets. If you've had pets, smokers, things like that, that deep cleaning and those carpets might be just the thing that we need to get done to make your house competitive with the other houses out there. If every other house out there had pets and smoke attached to the walls and in the vents and everything like that, it's like yours is just like another one of them. But if yours is an outlier, when a buyer comes by, they're going to be looking at your place and then the other places. And I'm afraid to say this, but more often than not, they're going to go with some other place that's already cleaned up and it's ready to move in. Then after we have the house cleaned up, we have an idea of all these great things about your house. We've looked at what the competition is. We've looked at what the comps show as similar houses are going for. Then we can come up with a listing price. And it's not just those things that determine the price. It's also your motivation. Do you need to be out of here next week because you have a job offer? Or do you have all the time in the world? You don't care. You're still living in the house. It's like no big deal. So depending on what your motivation is and all those other things is going to be where we're going to start off with the listing price. We're going to have get those pictures scheduled to come out. We've got a great photographer that really does a fantastic job. One thing I learned recently is that we had our sellers that had the pods out on the driveway. Our photographer can airbrush those out somehow so it looks just like they were never there. So that's pretty cool. And then we talked about that coming soon. We had the authorization earlier, right? So now we're going to kick it in. So now it's out there. It's on the internet. We've got the pictures back. The pictures are out there. And people are starting to say, oh, this place is priced right. Looks good. Great location. Things like that. And then we're going to start our marketing. We're going to start our videos. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're kind of into videos around here. Also, social media. We're going to push different marketing efforts out on social media, and that could be those videos, also those pictures. And we're also going to kind of figure out what our target market is. Is your house kind of the house that would be perfect and priced for first-time home buyers? Or maybe you have a higher-end house that, I don't know, a lot of people may be retiring from California. They're bringing their equity up here, and price isn't their big thing, but it's having the right size, the right amenities, and different things like that. So we need to figure out what your target market is and then target the marketing, right? Let's see. We also get the yard sign scheduled to come out so people can see that. And then when they're driving down the street, they go, oh, look at there. And then we go live. That means that, boom, we flip the switch. Agents can start bringing their buyers and we can start doing the showings and things like that. Another big thing is an open house. And why is that? Well, especially as we get more into spring, we have buyers that are just out there all over the place and their agents are, they have like too many buyers and they can't get to everybody at one time, that agent could say, hey, these guys are having an open house. I'm going to send my people over there to look at it. And then if that's the one, then I'll come out and help them out. So we see that pretty frequently. And sometimes we get people that don't have agents that are just waiting for an open house to come available so they can go look at houses. Sometimes it's just the neighbors. Sometimes it's just people looking for ideas on how to fix up their house. But sometimes it's buyers. So open houses can be good. And then, of course, Maureen and I, what we do is we follow up with all the showing agents and buyers, people that have come through the open house or agents that have brought people to the house. We get a little computerized list of all the notifications of agents that come out. So we easily can follow up with them, say, hey, give us some feedback. What'd you think? Can we expect an offer? Oh, and speaking of offers, well, then we start receiving offers. So we recently had a house that we had 4 offers in about 36, 37 hours, and then we picked one and went under contract. So that was very handy. So we do receive the offers, and what Maureen and I do is, we put the different terms and conditions on a spreadsheet. Especially, you got 4 offers. If you have 2 offers now, not that big a deal. You got 4 offers. We want to see what everything looks like at the bottom line. We present these offers to you, the seller, and then answer your questions. And before you accept an offer, you need to consider all the terms of an offer. It's not just that first number on the page 1 that says what they're offering to pay, because there's other terms and contingencies. Maybe you've got a couple offers, and one of them, they have a house to sell in California, and the other one is a renter right now, and they're pre-approved, and they're good to go. Depends on your situation, which one would work best for you. Also, ever since last August 17th, the whole real estate industry's changed. It used to be typically the seller would pay for both the listing agent and the buyer's agent, just a routine thing. Nowadays, that's changed. The buyer's agent, how they get paid is totally negotiable. But we do see it's still pretty much the norm that the seller will pay not only for the listing agent, but also for the buyer's agent, at least somewhat. We've had buyers recently that they sign an agreement with us to go with a certain percentage, and then the seller of the house, they come in a little bit less, maybe 0.5% less. And then so it's like, hey, great news for our buyers. The seller's going to pay for almost all of the agent fees. And they're going, that sounds great. We like all the help we can get. So just know that ever since last August 17th, the world's changed and things are on paper different, but in reality, it's still pretty much the same. That's why I'm saying we need to consider all the terms and contingencies when you go to accept an offer. Then you accept an offer, then guess what? We get to open escrow, and this is where all the fun stuff starts to happen. In Idaho, we use title companies, and they're kind of like the neutral third party, and they gather all the information. They do exactly what the instructions are that the sellers and the buyers have agreed to and give to the title company. So they're going to receive the earnest money from the buyer. And then we're going to get a receipt that said, hey, they did this. And that's great. And so the title company is also going to check out the title, make sure that you have a clear title that you can sell to pass on to the buyers. That would be important to the buyers, wouldn't it? Then the buyer's going to conduct their home inspection. They have an inspection contingency that is very routine in their offers, and it gives them so many days to have their inspector come out, check out the house. Plus, during that time, they can also check out other things that might be important to them, like what's it sound like in the middle of the night? So they can go park out front, roll down the window in the family truckster and just listen. Whatever it is that they want to inspect during that inspection period, they can absolutely do that. Then, after they're done doing their inspections, they're going to send a notice from the buyer to the seller. And when they do that, this ends their inspection contingency. And one of 3 things can happen. The buyer can terminate the contract and they get all the earnest money back. There's just something that they found that they didn't want to move forward with. The other option is that the buyer can ask for repairs, and then the seller can agree to make no repairs, some repairs, or all of the repairs. It depends on what's important to the seller, what's important to the buyer. Then the third option is the buyer can go ahead and accept the home as is and then just move forward with the process. And then all the wheels behind the scenes are turning. The title company's doing their title research and the lender's doing all of their underwriting stuff. And then we get close to the closing date. And 3-day walkthrough. That's what the buyer's going to do about 3 days before closing. And what they're going to do there is they're going to go walk through the house, make sure it's in appreciably the same condition it was when they first saw it. Any repairs that they had asked to be done, they can take a look, see if those things are all done. And then this is not a time for the buyer to come back and renegotiate on things. That time has already passed. But let's say that you accidentally put a hole in the wall when you're moving out your furniture, and the buyer walks through and they go, hey, what's that hole in the wall for? That would be something that would not have been there when they first started buying the house and needs to be repaired by you before we get to the closing. Or it could even delay closing, and that'd be no fun. And then about that same time, we can have the signing. This could be done the day or two before the actual closing. And if you're the seller and you're here in town, absolutely great. We can meet out at the title office, do the signing, bring your driver's license. Or let's say that you've already skedaddled to your new area and it's out of the area, out of state, something like that. We can also do this. We can have the signing done remotely. So wherever you are, don't let that be an issue. And then signing is not the closing. And the closing is when the transaction has officially recorded at the county. So when that happens, the title company gets notified and they notify us, they notify everybody that we are funded and recorded. And that means that it's done. The house, the property is sold and transferred. And at the same time, the funds get dispersed. That means whatever equity you had coming back to you comes back to you. And so that's all the process right there in a nutshell. We could make like separate videos on just about any one of those topics and go really deep. So that's why it's really important for you to give me a call, come out, and we'll talk with you. We'll check out your house, answer questions that are very specific and important to you. But I also want to point this out. This is what I talked about at the very beginning. Hey, here's my website. What do you think about that? You need to go check it out. It's got some great stuff on here. And one of the things that we have is over here in our resource tab. Got this great little resource down here, sell and buy. 3 options if you want to buy and sell a home. So just go ahead and click here, and then this next page will open up. And what are these 3 options? Well, do you want to sell, then buy a house? Or, do you want to sell and buy a house? Or do you want to buy a house and then sell yours? So just click on any of these things and you can get this download. Also, there's a video that goes along with it that kind of explains things in more detail. Very handy, huh? So thanks for stopping by today and checking out this fast action, fast pace list of all the steps to get your house sold. And I'm going to go ahead and put that video, the sell then buy, right here at the end. So you can click on that to watch that. Real easy. And remember, Treasure Valley Dave here and Treasure Valley Marine, we're both looking forward to getting your questions answered, whether you're a seller or a buyer. So give us a call, text, email. We'd be glad to help. And we will see you on the next video.